This is my first foray into watch collecting, and this kind of kicked off what I think us collectors call the sickness, right?
Yeah.
Like, this really kicked it off. I was like, I think I'm gonna keep collecting. I don't have a loyalty to a particular brand. I'm all over the place with my collecting. But for me, it's that I like to have a little bit of everything. This is gonna be a hot take for the podcast. I would choose a Speedy any day over a Daytona.
Today, I have a very special guest, a collector named Jonathan. So Jonathan was nice enough to bring his collection and share with us today. I don't think you're gonna see a collection like his anywhere else, and that's one of the beauties of watch collecting.
I'm flattered to hear you say that, Derek. Thank you very much.
But before we get into that, let's just start with the watch that you're wearing on your wrist today. Can you tell me what's on the wrist?
I have the Glass Shoot Original Panomatic calendar. And fun fact, Derek is actually the person who sold me this watch for my birthday. This was meant to celebrate a pretty pivotal year for me. 31 days in a calendar, 31 years old. And I'm very happy to have this watch on my wrist. It's my new favorite, not my everyday wear. It's a dress watch, but it's always a joy to bring this to meetups and chat about how much I love the panel design.
So it also has the window aperture to show you all of the months on the side, which is super cool. And it's also nice to celebrate 31 with having a watch that can count up to 31.
Just like I need to be reminded that I'm over 30 years old now. It can keep me in check, essentially. It's great. And I was telling Derek that for me, a huge part of buying it was to support Carrot & Co. I think it's vital that we have authorized dealers in our community and you support your AD.
Well, okay. Thank you so much for saying that, Jonathan. It means a lot for me and our store, Carrot & Co., to have people like you in our community and also someone who wants to work with us. So we're always, really thankful, and I appreciate your support too. And I did not pay him to say any of that.
No, absolutely didn't pay me.
Jonathan's just one of the sweetest guys I know. We've only met like a couple months ago through watch collecting and through the industry. I was just happy that I got to be part of your birthday celebration watch. So I'm happy that we could have made that work.
Thank you so much, Derek. Appreciate it.
So before we go into the collection that you brought with you today, I see we have over 15 watches here. Let's talk about you really quick. Like, how would you describe yourself? What kind of industries are you in?
So I have my fingers in a lot of pies, heavily involved in the 3D printing community, but one of the biggest pies I'm involved in right now is actually tabletop gaming. Currently, I'm very proud that my friend and I worked with him to help put out his board game, which is called Aegis, Combining Robots. We kickstarted it a couple years ago. Through a lot of hassle, it finally made its way to the US, and it's out now. Aegis, Combining Robots game. If you like robots, do you like miniatures, it's the game for you.
Is it already launched now?
It's already out in stores, I believe, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll put it up on the screen so people can check that out if they want to support. Watches, gaming, where's the intersect between these two hobbies for you?
For gaming, I love classic gaming, but there's a collectability to vintage games now that I've discovered, and the same thing applies to watches. Like, there's an amount of collectability. There's also a lot about what your tastes say about you. So my tastes in gaming are really role-playing games and board games. My tastes in watches are a bit of a reflection of me, so I like that they reflect who the collector is.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's just get started. Why don't you show me some of the watches you brought with you today?
Sure. Let's start in chronological order.
So we have this case here. It's like a cool Pelican case, and I see you have the Watches of Espionage branding on top here. So explain what's this case about here.
So I actually started watch collecting proper a few years ago. There's a gentleman I was working for, and he knew that I was very passionate about spy movies, espionage, but also like collectability. The first luxury watch I ever purchased was the Seamaster No Time to Die. I'm a huge James Bond fan. This was my first foray into watch collecting, and this kind of kicked off what I think us collectors call the sickness, right?
Yeah.
Like, this really kicked it off. I was like, dang,
Poison, we also call it.
Poison, yeah, because I liked it. My bank account didn't, but I love this watch. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to keep collecting. And then this ballooned into everything else you're going to see here today. But this one was my first because connection to James Bond and also just a stunning piece. That the round dial really goes with a lot of outfits, I would say. A lot of outfits, a lot of style. Yeah, this was one of my favorites. I'm going to pass that back.
And something I want to make a nice comment about this watch is that normally the No Time to Die comes on the Milanese mesh bracelet in titanium, and Jonathan cleverly swapped it out for an Uncle Seiko titanium bracelet that gives it its bullet style look, which completely changes the look of the watch. And the way it looks, it actually looks as if it's OEM if you didn't turn over the clasp, which is really cool.
It's a lot of fun. And again, it's the first luxury watch I've ever bought. And for me, for that reason, it's always going to stay in the collection.
And what year was this?
This was 2021. This is when the sickness kicked off right after the pandemic. Like, this is the start of it all.
So what was number 2 for you? Is it right next to me
It's
here?
right next to you there, yep, in the Watches of Espionage case. And speaking of Watches of Espionage, it's the huge reason why I got into collecting is his blog, which I was reading. It's such a good blog. He is very informative. He's very well read. His taste on collecting didn't per se guide, but informed me about how I could start collecting on my own. So it was really cool hearing from a collector in a very niche field, so to speak, speaking to me also in a niche field and collecting on my own.
So this next piece here we have is the Tudor Pelagos FXD,
Yep.
the Marine Nationale version.
Yep.
Blue dial. Tell me about this watch.
I love this watch. This is everything that Tudor should or could be doing. You have something very unique, and that's an homage to an older watch, but that really nice blue dial, that speaks to me. And I know people have mixed opinions on the snowflake indices and hands. I love them.
I
think
like them
snowflake
too.
is-
Yeah, I'm a fan.
It's unique.
One of the details that I love on this watch that some people overlook is the bidirectional bezel, which allows you to have a countdown bezel. Most dive bezels, you count upwards. You count when it's 10, 20 minutes. This one, you set the amount of time you want to elapse. So if you want 10 minutes to pass, you would set it to 10 minutes, and then you would let the watch naturally elapse down. Very nice choice. What's next?
I believe that the description of this watch was, what if Sinn made a watch for the desert? And this is what it would look like. It's a reproduction of East German Stricktarn camo. I love this Sinn because much like the FXD, I can wear it around and it's indestructible. I can beat it against the subway or like where I'm walking, and I feel secure. I don't feel like it's going to run out of sync or be short on seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much looks brand new. Like, I don't see any scratch marks or anything. I would have thought it's ceramic because of the black coating on the case and the bezel. And this does have that nice desert kind of like custard loom look to the entire watch. I mean, when you say military watch, this is like what I imagine.
Right,
Someone
right.
wearing. What do we have next here?
My Breitling Aerospace. I love this piece. You have a bit of two-tone going on the bezel and the dial. I'm someone that's not a quartz snob. I don't think that quartz is somehow a little lesser than mechanical. I think quartz is wonderful because this has literally every complication known to man. Minute repeater, GMT, time zones, chrono, right?
You got loom, you got,
everything, and all for a very attractive price, I would say. My only wish is that, and this is to you, Breitling, please make watches like this again. Like, I think that your current lineup is cool. I'd love to see the aerospace back more center of the picture. That's my only thing I would say.
Okay, that's a fair ask. So let me take a quick look at this. Is this a blue dial as well?
It's a blue dial. I think you know this, Derek. I'm a sucker for collecting limited editions.
Yeah.
Back to like the gamer aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like limited. I love limited. This is made for the French flying squadron, their stunt squadron, the Patrouille. I can't pronounce it.
Patrouille de France.
Patrouille de France, yeah.
Yeah, I see it on the dial here, which is really cool. They have it at the 3 o'clock marker. This one looks like it's a 50th year or 50-year anniversary
50 year
style watch
celebration.
too. Okay,
I
very
believe
cool.
this is like an early 2000s/90s watch.
Wow. I'm gonna pull up this next one here.
I wanted something off the beaten path, which was Airain, which is a French brand that's been revived by a Dutch collector. So this is a flyback chronograph, actually.
Oh, I didn't know it was flyback.
And it's built on the Type 20 contract. I initially approached Airain at their booth at Watches and Wonders last year. I was really enthusiastic. I talked to the founder, and I was going to buy one of their recent limited editions. I tried contacting him, and we just fell out of touch. I wasn't able to get a hold of the founder of the brand. So I was looking on eBay. Around earlier this year, I would say around March, I actually saw this particular watch for sale. I was thinking about it. I was like, do I really want it? Do I not really want it? And before I could pull the trigger on it, the seller ended the listing, and I was like, oh gosh,
Out of nowhere too, like
out of nowhere, out of the blue.
No
the seller,
explanation.
The seller, if you're watching this, Greg, this is your watch, thank you so much. He ended the listing, and I was very shocked, and I was like, dang it, this is the one that got away from me.
Wow.
And then about a month later, I'm hanging out with my friend. We're getting lunch together. And then I get a message on eBay saying, hi, sorry, I was in the hospital with my mother.
Oh.
She's with me now. I'm out of the hospital. And I have this watch again for sale if you're interested. I was like, yes. I slammed the buy it now button as quick as I could. I was like, yes, I want this now. This was almost the watch that got away. And thankfully it didn't. Thankfully. I'm so happy it didn't. I don't regret it.
The dial appears gray to green, almost like a dark forest green, like the strap you have here. And then some of the cool details that I noticed on the watch, on the outside, you have a rotating bezel. This is a dual time zone, so you have up to 12 hours you can set to. And then like you mentioned, you have the flyback chronograph. So not only is it a chronograph that can count in a lapse period of time, but you have the flyback function, which you can hit the bottom pusher, reset, and instantaneously restart the chronograph again, which is really cool and something that I think is pretty much in all Type 20s. today?
I believe it was a minimum standard that the French Air Force had for that contract, which was you have to be able to have the flyback function.
Yeah. I mean, now this is a pilot's watch. You have all the functions of what I think a pilot could use aside from just having legible Arabic numerals on the dial, which is nice. And the last watch is a watch that I've also loved. I've hunted down before myself, and I'm really happy that I know someone who has one so I can see it all the time. Can you tell me about this watch here?
Also, Derek, if you ever wanted to borrow it, feel free.
Oh,
I
thank you.
I would lend it to you.
I know you would, but I'm afraid I wouldn't give it back, and then I would have to pay you for it. So that's why I'm not taking that offer yet.
From a loan to a buy.
Yeah.
But no, this is my Blancpain 50 Fathoms. And a little bit about me as a collector. One of the brands I fell in love with was Blancpain, because there's such a rich history there. And on top of that, they've really committed themselves to, yes, we've only made mechanical watches. I think that level of commitment in the face of the quartz crisis is really cool. It's a cool story to tell. But in my opinion, this is the ultimate Blancpain 50 Fathoms, which is their iconic diver. But this is the 50 Fathoms Hodinkee collab, which is the mil-spec or revival of mil-spec. And what I love about this is it's time only. No date window.
Love that.
You have that funky orange-white moisture gauge complication. Who else can say they have a moisture complication on their watch? It's very rare. But the other thing I love about this watch, I love that it is lacking the Blancpain logo on the side. It is very subtle. It is not shiny. It's brushed. No, this, in my opinion, is the coolest Blancpain diver. This is really emblematic of their watchmaking. Do everything to a high standard, but keep it quiet. Don't be loud about it. And do you mind if I do a bezel?
Dude, please, go for it.
Like, this, in my opinion, has one of the best bezel clicks out there. Like, this is just ASMR music to my ears, and I could do this for a very long time.
I love that there's no date window on this watch. I noticed that on this Hodinkee version, they took off the first 15-minute markings. So they, I think their brand is always to make things very symmetrical and aesthetically pleasing. So no date window, took off the side branding, took off the first 15 minutes because then it makes everything symmetrical, especially when it's loomed. You'll see everything, the 15, 30, 40 and all the lines in between loomed, but you won't see the little 15-minute markings. This is one of my favorite watches that you've shown me so far, but I feel like there's still a lot more that we're gonna see.
We've connected really heavily over this watch too, I think.
Yeah.
And that's like, speaking to collecting, like, it's really cool that you can forge friendships and connections based on what's on your wrist. That's another reason why I love this hobby. You meet all kinds of cool people.
Do you find yourself more of a brand collector or a horology collector?
For me, movement and construction are everything in a watch. I think a brand story, to an extent, can be fabricated. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in this industry, but at the core of it, you want to see in front of you a really well-designed, good product. For example, the Breitling. That Breitling's from an era where I think Breitling got it right. I think current Breitling, I'm not a huge fan of where they're at now, but this speaks to me as to where Breitling was, and this is their golden era, in my opinion. For me, it's less about the brand story. I don't have, as you can see in the first case, I don't have a loyalty to a particular brand. I'm all over the place with my collecting, but for me, it's that I like to have a little bit of everything and a little bit of every story and design.
Awesome. Let's move on to case number 2. I'm going to put this one down here.
So what we have here are 2 of the watches I inherited from family members that are no longer with us. The one here, this is my grandfather's day date.
This is so stunning. It's a 36 millimeter solid yellow gold day date. Reference on this again?
I believe it's the 1803. It's the non quick set. You might be asking, why doesn't this have the president bracelet? And that's because my mom kind of got scammed. My grandfather, when his business really got kicking off in Chinatown, he used to run a bunch of garment shops in the 80s. And my mom was in Hong Kong in the 80s, and she said, hey, I want to treat my dad. He's worked hard to help us have a life here in the United States. Let's reward him. So she and her first husband, they found this at a dealer in Hong Kong and wanted to bring it back to the US. They stopped in Hawaii first, from Hong Kong, because back then I don't think direct flights were a thing from New York. In Hawaii, when she was going through customs, she had the box and papers with her. So customs saw the box and papers and were like, hey, did you pay duty on this? And my mom was like, I don't know. And then customs charged her a very high duty for it.
Based on the content of gold or something?
Based on the content of gold.
Oh my God.
Not on the value of the watch, on content of gold. And she got absolutely, as she put it, hosed on this watch. But she brought it back. My grandfather loved it. And then my grandfather sadly passed in the 90s. But when he passed, my mom wanted to put this in storage. Before she put it in storage, she took it to a jeweler to get service. And unfortunately, that jeweler, I don't know who they are. It seems like they might have scammed my mother. So basically, she brought it with the president bracelet. She was giving it back. My mom just wasn't, she's not a watch person. When we took this out of the safety deposit box and I sent it to Rolex for a service, Rolex informed us, hey, this president bracelet, it's not 100% gold and we didn't make it.
Whoa.
So it was a counterfeit president bracelet.
That is so crazy. So what you guys think happened is basically when it got sent to service, basically someone swapped the bracelet out.
At that jeweler, yeah.
And then they figured you wouldn't recognize it.
And my mom didn't. Because the weight was the same. I still have that counterfeit bracelet. It's shockingly the same weight, but according to Rolex, it's not 100% gold. And they didn't make, as they say in their parlance, we didn't make this bracelet. I initially was very scared of collecting vintage. But once I had a few pieces passed on to me, I'm a little more comfortable collecting vintage now. And for me, a vintage is connection to the past, and this is connection to my grandfather.
Yeah.
So, but the other one, this one's a little more melancholy because it's recent. But my Uncle Joe, my mom's brother, Uncle Joe passed away earlier this year. Just Parkinson's, dementia, all that added up, and he passed away. But I was given watches that he owned, and the one I brought today was the Patek that he got. Because I think Joe, when I saw his collection that my mom was keeping in one of her safety deposit boxes, he really was a Piaget guy, I think. There's a lot of Piaget in there.
Yeah.
But this one's unique because it's the only Patek in that whole collection. And in my opinion, this is one of the most understated Pateks, the Golden Ellipse.
I was gonna say the golden ellipse with a beautiful blue dial, almost like royal blue, almost purple too. There's also manual winding as well.
Manual wind.
That's amazing. Like, I love watches. Look how thin this is. This is probably like 7 millimeters at the most thick. It is so beautiful on the wrist.
So the next 3 watches I have are from 2 micro brands and also 1 revived brand, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So the first one I'm going to go over is the Manuel. If the Grönefeld brothers are watching this, I think this is Tim's edition.
Okay.
But if it's the Bart, I apologize. I love the Grönefeld brothers. And I wanted to have a Grönefeld, but accessible to me. So for me, the Manuel, Derek, if you want, play with the torque on the wind.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and wind the crown.
Doesn't that feel different?
You get like this, like you mentioned the word torque, you definitely get like this little kickback as you're winding. You can put it
next to the mic for a little bit, yeah. It is a manual, so I don't know how much wine we have left, but... So, even on like a simple, I believe it's just the Solita movement on this, something as simple as this, the Grönefeld brothers added their own personal touch. You can feel the torque, you can feel a little bit of the brothers. For this one, there was a Tim and a Bart edition, so they all have different dials representing the brothers' favorite colors. Mm-hmm. But for me, up until this point, I didn't really have a salmon dial watch in the collection, so that hit all the points. The Grönefeld, that's my Grail watch, is a salmon dial. So...
This is like the closest you can get to the sun, basically.
Closest I can get to the sun without actually touching it. I get to taste a little bit of the Grönefeld brothers watchmaking in a small package.
I feel like you're happier this way too, though, because it allows you to collect other watches.
Yes.
Maybe if you went for the Grönefeld watch, then you wouldn't have bought all these other watches.
If I went for the Grönefeld, I think like most of the watches here would, except for the vintage ones, because I can't sell those.
Yeah.
But most of them would be gone, yes.
Yeah.
Most of them would be gone, and I'd feel really bad.
So this is like a salmon dial or copper?
Copper salmon, yeah. Next up, this one is a Baltic jade dial.
Oh, jade.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering
it's
what
a stone dial.
Yeah.
At a very attractive price point. This watch is more about the story of a connection to have to a friend, Remy. He runs the Baltic showroom in New York. I met Remy via the wind-up fair. So my story behind this is that I had actually missed the initial drop because they had the limited edition drop. They had agates, a lapis, I believe. I could be wrong on the lapis, but it was a blue stone and then jade. And they had each of these stones represent a different city. Jade was for New York City, which I thought was really cool. I was working and I missed the drop. I missed the sale time. So by the time I got on the website, it was gone. What ended up happening though was, again, at Wind Up, I met Remy and I asked him, hey, nice to meet you. I love Baltic. By chance, is there one available? He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll check for you.
Oh, wow, nice.
And I heard back from Remy later that day. He was like, hey, So we actually have one in France.
Okay.
So I'm going to get it shipped to the US. Remy managed to get this in for me, and I picked it up from him at the showroom later. And we've just really bonded after that, because Remy's also a passionate vintage collector. He loves collecting vintage. I really made a cool friendship with Remy over picking up this awesome watch that, again, is connected to New York because it's their New York edition.
First, I love the dial on this jade version. It has the nice texturing. I love the sharp Dauphine style hands. Like, it's time only with the small seconds. It's so elegant. This is like a 36 millimeter. It's cool that, like, when I'm looking through your collection, there's no one common similarity, maybe the limited edition part, but I wouldn't really call that a similarity among watches, because you have watches in 42 and 44, and you go down to 36, and you wear all of them too. Like,
I do.
There's no size that you're not scared to try on or shape, and I think that's really cool. And the dials are all unique and different too here.
Speaking of wearing all my watches, I'm gonna let you guys in a little secret of mine, my dark secret as a watch collector. My dark secret is I really only wear manual or mechanical watches at meetups or when I'm hanging out with friends or folks like Derek doing watch things. Then I wear my mechanical watches. My daily beater is a Casio. And I love it. It's indestructible. It tells the time correctly. I don't have to set it, but that's my dark secret as a watch collector is that my daily beater is an F91. Yeah. Like that's the daily watch.
I think a lot of people will relate to you with that, because I know a lot of people who wear quartz watches like through the day, but when they go to their watch meetups, that's when they bring out the stuff that they've been like the collecting. Yeah.
I feel a bit like a fake fan for not always wearing my. The only mechanical watches I feel comfortable wearing daily are actually the FXD and the Blancpain. Yeah. Because people don't know what
They're a little bit more under the radar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The branding is not obvious, you know.
We're going to have this watch up on display next. This is my Bulova Jetstar, but this one is a collab with a watch collecting group I'm in New York City called Complecto. We both know Jason.
Yeah, I know Complecto.
Jason's a really cool guy, and when I joined Complecto, I discovered that this was their first collab watch, and I found out that it had sold out.
Oh.
And I was
Jonathan, you're always late to the train.
I'm always late to the train, yeah. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And Jason was like, I'm sorry, brother. Like, if one shows up, it'll show up. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was like, it's never gonna show up. It's sold out. There was only like 100 or so pieces. So I was like, yeah, it's not happening. Cut to about 2 months ago. So my friend earlier that I mentioned, John Nedry, it turns out that when John received his Jetstar, there was a shipping error at Bulova, and they sent him 2.
Whoa.
So John's a very honest guy, and he went to Jason and was like, hey, I have 2. Can we just release this one back to the community and give the proceeds back to Bulova? And Jason said, okay, let's do that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Jason texts me and he's like, hey, we have this. John re-released it back. Do you want it? And I was like, yes, please. So I went to one of the Complecto meetups that was I think it was like last month. And Jason hooked it up with the watch.
Oh, this is recent. This was only last month.
This is last month.
Wow.
Jason hooked it up.
But one cool detail I want to shout out also is to D-Lugs, because I see that D-Lugs and Complecto partnered together for this gray suede or nubuck strap, and it matches nicely with the tones of the watch. And I like the little orange pops with the gray tones of the watch as well. It's beautiful.
It's a cool piece. I'm happy to have it. And with a quartz piece, what I love about this Bulova, they call it high frequency or high frequency quartz. So it's not quite Grand Seiko spring drive level, but you can see that it has a smoother second sweep than a regular quartz watch. It doesn't have the fake tick, tick, tick. It sweeps.
Let's move on to the next set of watches.
Now, this is a watchmaker that I love what he does. I love his story, Hajime Asaoka. I love that he's not even a trained watchmaker. He kind of taught himself. His background was really in engineering and design. And he makes, you've seen the Asaoka watches, right, that he's made. Have you seen those?
I've seen them, yeah.
That's insane that he has his own design tourbillon, right? Now, granted, I don't think I could ever afford one of those watches. Ever. That's never happening in this lifetime, I don't think. But I love what he does. And for me, the coolest thing he does is his dial work. He has some really unique dial designs that you don't really see in the Swiss end of the industry. But much like the Grönefeld brothers, I think he's one of the first to have done this as an independent. He has a sub-brand. I think there's actually him, Max Busser, and Grönefeld now that have these micro sub-brands that are beneath the big brands. So his sub-brand is called Kurono Tokyo. There's 2 sub-brands on this watch. You have Kurono Tokyo and you also have Hiroshige. With this watch, what's really cool about it is that dial, it's using a fan design as the power reserve. I think that's so sick. A fan power reserve.
I mean, it ties directly into like the Japanese cultural symmetry there.
Yeah, you have Japanese indices, and then on top of that, it's a guilloche for his brand. Just such a cool watch. But what's really cool to me too is how well it pairs with that strap.
This is the original strap too?
No, the original strap it comes with is just a simple black strap. But Kurono, like I said, Asaoka has two sub-brands, and both of them are sort of his tributes to Japanese craft. So Hiroshige is his watch strap brand. Hiroshige takes traditional Japanese design techniques and applies them to straps.
The dial color on this is stunning. It's like a very bright blue. I love the handset on here. It feels Japanese. Like you have a leaf hand on one, and then you have almost like a tapered syringe style hand here. I even like how the second hand slopes downwards towards the edge of the dial, so it follows the curve, which is really nice. And then, like you mentioned, this strap is really stunning. You have like this white pattern here, but then it's stitched into a completely another pattern, like a two-tone strap essentially. This is stunning.
So this is me getting into an addiction that I have. There is a watch I think I've told you that I could just collect indefinitely. And
yeah.
If I had a collection that was just one watch, it would be Speedmasters.
Oh, wow.
And
that's a bold statement. Is this your only Speedmaster?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay. Because this is the only one you brought with you. But I was
I don't want to have people say, wow, oops, all Speedmasters. And I have 5 Speedmasters with me.
What are the other 4?
Gosh, I have the Snoopy.
Okay, you have the silver Snoopy.
I have one from Japan that's called Morui. So it's sort of a play on a Panda dial, but it was made for the Japanese department store.
Oh,
Marui.
white with the black. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that.
The Marui dial.
Yeah.
Dial.
Oh, that's the 39 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the speedy reduced.
The other ones I have the Schumacher, and then I also have the Speedmaster Japan Racing.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Japan stuff.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a weeb. So.
And tell me what this one is, because I know.
So back to being a bit of a nerd and a weeb. This is the Ultraman.
The Speedy Tuesday version,
Tuesday,
right?
Yeah, not the original. I mean, originals are so hard to come by.
Yeah.
But this is the Speedy Tuesday.
This is as good as it gets, anyways.
Modern construction, caliber 3861, I believe.
Yeah.
So the modern Lamania caliber. I love it because of all the Easter eggs that you can show people at meetups with a loom torch, the hidden Ultraman on the dial. I think that's a lot of fun.
Where does that show up on the 9 o'clock or the 3?
9 o'clock, yeah.
Okay.
Where you see it. You can kind of see him if you tilt a little bit.
I can see it right now just because of the way the light is playing, but it's not visible.
Nope.
You can just see like the raised part there within the subdial.
And on the 3 o'clock subdial, you also have the whole 3 minutes marker because that's how long he can stay in Ultraman form.
That's
in the original
that's
show.
Such a cool. I love that little Easter egg there.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch Ultraman growing up, but I'm familiar with it, of course. But I love that little detail there because that's something like people wouldn't know unless they're a fan. Some things that I love on this watch is I love the vintage Omega logo up top. I think it's such a nice touch because like I have the modern white dial Speedy. It kind of reminds me of the Barracuda from Blancpain, like the color tones of like the red with the custard loom.
This is gonna be a hot take for the podcast. I would choose a Speedy any day over a Daytona.
Okay.
Any day. I've been tempted by the Daytona several times, and every time I'm like, number one, they'll actually sell you it at Omega or even here. They'll actually sell you. You want a Speedy? Derek's got you. You go asking for a Daytona, you get weird looks from the AD. You're like, did you just ask me for a Daytona? And I'm like, yes. I've never asked for Daytona, but I've had friends that have, and every time it's like, 5-year or 3-year wait. It's not happening anytime soon. So you can actually buy this. And for me, again, just the bezel and the dial layout, all of it just speaks to me more than Daytona's does.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that's a bad watch. It's a great watch, if you can get it.
Yeah. No, I second you on that one too. I love Speedies.
I'm also going to sound like a hypocrite right now because there's a Rolex coming up. This is the Rolex Air King. For me, the Air King, what I love about it is it's that touch of green and yellow that set it apart from the rest of the Rolex lineup. It's Rolex being weird and funky. And that's when I think Rolex is best, is when they get weird. Like recently, what is it? Is it ceramic for the new green?
Yeah, the GMT? Green left-hand GMT now has a Serichrome dial as well in green.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I think the lavender dial is really fun. The mustard dial.
OPs,
I think the pistachio is, green, we're in the years of green right now.
Oh, they also made the Land Dweller this year too.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this, the Land Dweller is not for me, but do I think it's a great step in the right direction? Absolutely. I think it's fun. I think when Rolex is not just doing GMTs and Daytonas and day dates, they have a lot of fun in the catalog, and I think this is like one of the coolest watches they've made because it's weird. What ended up propelling me to get this over the older version, I love that you have the 05 instead of just a 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing that, tying back to the watch that I got from you, I was considering a glass shooter Rigonelle or the Longo 1. And for me, one of the things I have to have on my watches symmetry and flush. And for me, the longer one was not flush.
In between, you're talking about in between the date
Yeah,
disc that there's a little step. So you have like a vertical drop off.
It's such a pedantic thing to be hung up on, I think, right? But for me as a collector, it's something that I need.
What do we have next here?
This is the Grand Seiko I brought today.
I mean, this one's a special limited edition.
It's a recurring theme.
It's in a solid rose gold case with a beautiful green dial. Which limited edition is this one?
This is the 60th anniversary. I don't know.
So that was 2020?
I believe so. Yeah, I bought the secondhand.
Late to the train. I'm just kidding.
No, don't. No, it's not a joke. It's like always late. My best friend would say the same thing. It's like, you're always late.
You're on time.
On time. My best friend has a joke. She's like, hey, John, you're really into collecting watches. Why are you always late when we go out for dinner? You always wear watches.
Here's my theory, because I feel like these days I'm always late to things too. And I, obviously as a watch dealer and watch collector, my thing is like the person who buys watches, you're not using it just to tell you what the current time is, we're not physically using, and I think that's a foreign concept to people who are like, why do you own so many watches and you're always late? Like, they don't understand that concept.
For me with this GS, what I love about this so much is two things. One of the complaints that I read online that some of the owners had was, oh wow, you're giving us the same movement that you find in the entry level GS.
The SBGW 231 and 2301 and those stuff.
From my POV, like, how's that a complaint? Because to me that says even at the entry level, they do a phenomenally finished movement.
Yeah, I guess you can take that same statement and flip it on the head and be like, you're getting the same movement as the $30,000 version, but you're getting it for $4 or $5K.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's true. And the other thing for me with this that I love, the patterning in this is insane. It's not quite the wave pattern that you find in the other, like, I think they have the wave one, and then they also have the peacock, right?
Yeah.
This isn't quite that.
It reminds me of the peacock a little bit, just because of the color tone.
But it's a little bit
different. Yeah.
And then come out with the rose gold. When GS does gold, they do it fun.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Let's get to the last watch. I'll pass this back to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll put these away.
If you haven't noticed, I'm Chinese American. And for me, I love collecting Chinese New Year watches. Mm-hmm. My birth year, I'm Year of the Dog. I don't think I'm due for a Year of the Dog watch, which hopefully I'll get through you for another 5 years.
It's going to be 5 years, yeah,
5 years. So. That gives me time to save up. But for me, this is the one IWC I own, and this is the Portuguese or Year of the Rabbit. So you might be wondering, like,
why would Jonathan collect a Year of the Rabbit watch when he's actually Year of the Dog?
Rabbits are my favorite animal. My favorite, if you're familiar with Sanrio, like Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
My favorite Sanrio character, because I grew up watching her show, the Cantonese dub, actually, in Hong Kong, is My Melody.
Okay.
And she's the Sanrio rabbit. She's one of 2 rabbits in Sanrio. It's My Melody and Kuromi are the 2
Does she wear the pink dress or something?
She wears she has like a pink bib around her.
Oh,
like
yeah.
But I loved her show both as a kid and as an adult. A kid because it was fun watching the adventures she'd go on, and then she'd always be squaring off against Kuromi, who was like the goth, edgy rabbit. But as an adult, rewatching that show, much like a lot of like early 2000s kids shows, there's a lot of adult humor hidden in there. There's a lot. It's just very varied. But if you watch it as an adult, like, oh, that's why they did that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of adult
But
jokes.
as a kid, you don't understand.
You're like, haha, that's cute. I can't believe they slapped each other. Yeah. And as an adult, it's like, oh, that's what you were insinuating. Okay. Like, it's fun. But
so does this watch remind you of that?
It reminds me of it reminds me of all my connections to bunnies.
Okay. I mean, I really like the way IWC did their Year of the Rabbit. I have actually never seen this before until you showed me, because I've only seen the 2024, like the Year of the Dragon and then the Year of the Snake versions, but I didn't see the Year of the Rabbit one. And they've been doing this every year now with a different collection or a different watch. So this at the 2023 was the Portuguese hand wound, but I think last year is the Year of the Dragon. It was the Portuguese chronograph version.
When IWC does Year of the Dog, I'll be hitting you up.
Yeah, maybe I have to pick up one up. Year of the Monkey.
Year of the Monkey. I think that's not too far away. I don't think.
Oh God.
I don't think that's too far away.
God.
Yeah. IWC every time, like you said, they always do a different complication.
Well, I also have time to save up then, because that's not coming up for a few years.
No.
But Jonathan, dude, thank you so much again for
having
bringing all of your watches today. And not all of them, but bringing all of these watches today and sharing your journey into collecting. And it was just great to hear all the stories and all the personal connections you have to these watches. And I think that the best part of seeing everything is that watches really do tell stories more than they tell time.
I agree with that. I love storytelling. And like I always say, when I go to a Red Bar meetup or a Complecting meetup, it's adult show and tell.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
If there's one last thing you want to say to the viewers before we sign off, what do you want to say? This camera or that camera or whatever.
So what I would say to the viewers is watch collecting is a journey that you should really take at your own pace. Don't let me influence you. Don't let YouTubers influence you. Figure out what you like on your own and take it from there. The best we can do as your fellow collectors is give you our input. But at the end of the day, it's an opinion, not a fact.
Awesome. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Derek. Appreciate it.